How to build a raised bed in under 25 minutes. Do you think I can do it? I'm not sure. So I haven't read the instructions, but I just got this raised bed kit in the mail, and I'm gonna see if I can put it together in 25 minutes. So first things first, I have to get this over to the raised bed site. This thing is heavy. I'm pretty sure this box weighs about, I don't know, 75 pounds or something. My husband sent me a text when it arrived from FedEx. He's like, did you order something really heavy? I'm like, yeah, another raised bed, duh, right? So these are raised beds that I just discovered earlier this year. We were looking for a steel bed that we could ship out to everybody, at least in the 48 contiguous states. Is that how you say it? I found this option, and so I decided to try it out. Not just this bed, but actually my entire kitchen garden is built by the same manufacturer. After I set up my raised bed system in my kitchen garden here in Nashville, I had this spot here at the end where I just had too much gravel. Didn't measure correctly or got a little over ambitious. And I ended up with this blank space at the end where I had like 4 feet of gravel. That's just wasted space. So why not add some more raised beds, right? So I've already put that one together over there, and I have to say it took me longer than 25 minutes. So I thought that I would bring you along and see if I can put this one together faster. So these guys come in obviously cardboard, and I'm gonna show you all the packaging that they have inside. I don't know about you, but sometimes I order stuff for my garden and I feel a little guilty because the stuff comes wrapped in so much styrofoam and plastic that I feel kind of bad. I'm like, I'm trying to do something good for the world and have a garden, and I just contributed to a ton of waste. So these raised beds do come with some foam, but nothing too extreme. So first we have this little cardboard piece, which I actually use for lasagna gardening. I'll show you later, but I used it to set up my native plant space. So it comes with cardboard, and then it does have this little foam thing. Oh gosh, I should have checked my time before I got started. Nick, will you keep me accountable? I'm already 3 minutes in. Okay, I gotta stop going on and on, but they have these little corners here to protect the corners. This is Corten steel. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase Corten steel. It actually is kind of like, it's like a brand. It's gonna be noisy. Like the word Band-Aid. What's another brand? Like tissue, Kleenex? Or like, you use the brand name to describe the product. So that's what Corten steel is actually. It's a brand name, but it describes this kind of steel that rusts to a point and then stops. One thing I did learn last time, I should have worn gloves. These beds do a little bit of residue on your hands. So I'm gonna protect my nails and also not show you how I haven't done my nails in a few weeks. Okay, so it's also got this black, I don't think it's cardboard. So I'm not sure if that is recyclable, but the other cardboard definitely is. So this is the bottom of the bed. You can see how it's got these drainage holes in it. I was thinking when I set up that bed, I wasn't gonna put the bottom on it because these beds don't need a bottom, but you actually can't put the bed together without the bottom. So you have to have it, but I think it's great. So if you're trying to grow on like a patio or porch or a deck, this is a great garden to have. Because it's going to keep all the soil and everything in. All right, so we got that piece. These two are the long sides, and then these are the short sides. So this is the large option. I think this is about 2 by 4 essentially. I think it's like 46 inches long and like 24 inches wide. So these are the wide panels and those are the long. Okay, all the supplies here probably already at, are we at 6 minutes, 5 minutes?
5 minutes on the dot.
5 minutes, all right, I gotta speed up. So here's more cardboard. That's the end of the packaging. So the only supplies you get to go with this is just a little bag of screws and bolts. And that I will say is the hardest part of these. They're very little. So this is one side and this is the bottom. So the bottom part is here. So you can see how it uses that little lip to stand on its own. When I first put this together, I started with the bottom on the bottom because that kind of makes sense, but you're actually not supposed to do that. Now, I do have a yoga mat here, which you're probably thinking, why does she have a yoga mat? My idea was that, let's see, if I put it together like this, you're gonna be able to see better, right? Okay, so we'll do it like this. The yoga mat was, if this is just to tell you, if you're gonna put this together on a hard surface, you wanna roll out something like a yoga mat or a sheet or a blanket so that you don't scratch the steel while you're putting it together. So I've got this here, and now I'm gonna take the bottom and slide it in to this. Okay, so let me make sure. Again, I'm not reading the directions. I think this goes right in here. So if you hate the sound of like fingers on the chalkboard, you're gonna wanna wear like noise canceling headphones for this. Because it is, like I was putting this together the first time with my daughter and she was literally like, I have to leave. Like she was getting sick. Okay, so this comes the hard part actually. It's not putting it together. It's getting these little screws out of here and then getting them in place. So they are super tiny little screws. It just takes some finagling. So if you have someone in your family or a partner, let me show you these, that has small hands, then they're gonna be a really good partner for this. All right, I'm gonna have to calm myself down a little bit. This is one of those things, I wanna do it fast, but the faster I try to go, the worse it is. So if you have a little screwdriver, obviously that would help. I found that it's faster to put the screw in, then put the little bolty thing on the inside, than the other way around. The first one is in. Probably need a screwdriver for this. Build all the screws. This isn't going well. All right, I found a tiny little screwdriver, which is what you're gonna want for this project, because like I said, the hardest part of this is that the screws are so tiny. One of the best parts of it though is that the screws are tiny, so you're not gonna see like from the edge, you'll see at the end. There's really no sign that it's not, you know, almost like one piece. So there's a screw on either side and then one in the middle. And that's all it takes to attach the first set. Now, as we flip this over, it gets a little bit more complicated. In my book, Kitchen Garden Revival, I talk about cedar, steel, and stone as my favorite containers. Well, a lot of people are like, is it safe? And so when I first started building gardens for our clients, actually one of my very, very first, maybe the first client I built for, by the way, I set a timer. So this will go off at the end of 25 minutes, I think. So she said she wanted a French garden, something like that. And so I was like, what is a French garden? I don't even know. I actually write about this too. But anyway, I ended up building her these steel beds that I made out of troughs. So I drove to Tractor Supply, and in Houston, that's quite far away. Drove to Tractor Supply, and then I like patinaed these little steel beds and put them on rollers. And that was the first steel garden that I ever put together. And it was so successful and did so well, it encouraged me to start doing more. This one, it gets a little bit complicated. You almost need 2 people. If you have 2 people, that helps. But what I did last time, it worked really well. Let's see if it works. It might. Is I use the sides to prop it up, because basically you need the sides to hold this up. Oh, shoot. You need the sides to hold this up until you put it together. All right, you guys, this is the real world. What it's like to really do the hard work. All right, I'm gonna hope that just one holds it up. What do y'all think? Back to my steel bed story. I built these steel beds for Jenny and they were so cute. I loved them so much. And I started having clients ask for Corten steel beds. I was a little worried, to be honest. I was a little bit worried that they were gonna heat up too much, because I was creating these in Houston, Texas, of all places. So this goes here, this goes here. Uh-oh, y'all, it's gonna fall apart. I think I did my steps a little. This is real life, guys, putting these things together. Sorry for your ears. Okay, there we go. So it's supposed to slide down in there. There we go. That makes so much more sense, right? I have to tell you, I'm only making this video for you so that you know what it's really like to put this bed together, rather than just like, you know, someone who actually knows how to put stuff together. Clearly not me. Okay. Okay, you have to tell me in the comments if you are the type of person who follows directions, like reads directions, or if you're one of those people who thinks like you're like so intuitive that you don't need the directions. That's me. I am that person. One of my toxic traits, I would say. If you have one of those like little magnetized screwdrivers, that's a good thing to have right now. I am right here to support you if you need help. So I don't know about y'all, but like in my marriage, we kind of have this agreement that like, you know, if I sign up for something, Like if I order this without my husband like saying he wants to do it too, then it's like on me to get it done. So I've had to do this multiple times. Like one was with my composter, a Jora composter. I have a video about it. I love that thing, but my gosh, it is so complicated to put together. And it was quite an undertaking. Okay, we have finally gotten this screw in. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the rest in. Deep breath, Nicole. I'm gonna put the rest in and then come back and screw in the little bolty thing. So I had this client and she was like, I wanna do a Corten steel bed. And I was super scared to do it because we were in Houston and it's a very hot place. And so I was thinking like, the plants are gonna get scorched growing in steel. And that's actually one of the most common questions I get about my steel beds is like, don't they heat up too much? This client was really convinced like that was all she wanted to do, nothing else. And she had this gorgeous Corten steel fire pit. And so I had a steel guy who could make the beds for me. And she was like, I'm willing to risk it. So we did it. Okay, so I think I can take this out now. It's done its job. If you have two people to build your bed, it'll be easier. Let's just say that. Okay, so now we got the sides built. I am gonna try and make my goal. So we have this huge huge park in Houston, and they had just set up this huge kitchen garden, so inspiring. So we went to the movies one day, my family, and then we went to the park to play afterwards. And I escaped over to the garden, and y'all, the entire garden was made of Corten steel beds, and they were thriving in Houston. And this was like a community garden, so people all take care of the garden, different community members. So it's not like pros were managing this. Maybe so. These are just like typical community people. And so I was like, oh, like if they did it, then I'm gonna do it. So I went back to my client and we did the first few beds in Corten steel. This is actually in my book. She has these cute little box gardens. And her gardens did so great and were so beautiful, and the materials were holding up so well that I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this more. I already lost a screw. I'm such a pro at this. Okay, now all we have to do is connect these side panels. So again, all the screws are on the bottom of this bed, which make it so nice when you're gardening. You don't have to see any of the connections. So this is gonna be loud. Okay, I got a little confused with this last time. I think, oh yeah, that's it. It just slides over. Is that right? Let me check. So it has this little lip on here, and that slides over to give you this really nice finish on the top, which I love. And then it just connects on the bottom. So I'm gonna turn this over and very carefully connect it on the bottom. So all the screws are on the bottom, which is so nice. Look at that. Y'all, we're almost done. I can't believe it. Okay, so back to my story about steel beds. So anyway, she's had a lot of success, and then I found this steel artist who's a woman in Houston. We started working together. He's probably made me, I don't know, like 100 beds. That might be a little bit of exaggeration, but literally just a little bit, not much. We've just had so much success with them. What I love about steel, and I found this in research for my book, steel is like one of the most recyclable materials. Steel is one of those things, like at a garbage dump or whatever, they pick out of the trash because they can recycle it into something else. So it's one of the most recyclable things. And then I started doing research on the safety of it, which I know is everybody's question. Growing food, right? Because we want to take care of our bodies, not put something weird into it. And so everything I've found, a lot of people ask about like leaching and stuff like that. The only thing I found is that there may be the chance that a little bit of zinc may go into the dirt from the steel, but that's it. All right, so I'm gonna flip it here. We're almost done. Last side. Is this so fun? It wasn't very fun for me when I get worried about it, when I was like working on my timing. But now that I'm really relaxed. Do I look really relaxed? Okay, there we go. I was secretly wearing those gloves so y'all couldn't see the fact that I haven't gotten a manicure in a couple weeks. I couldn't do the screws with those gloves on. It's just impossible. Definitely a little screwdriver. You're gonna wanna have that for this job. But that's really it in terms of tools. Maybe like a little tightener for the bolt, but that's it. We are on the last little bit here. We're almost done. I think we are. All I have to do is put these little things on. Isn't it cute? It's such a cute little raised bed. So I know it doesn't look like Corten steel right now. Corten steel rusts like to a point and then stops. And so these will start to turn colors. It'll start to weather. I'm just gonna get inside here because it'll be easier. It'll start to turn color as the weather hits it, rain and sun, but not too much. But it'll just rust to a point and then it'll stop. Okay, gonna get these last two. Are we gonna make it? What do you think? I don't know if I made the 25-minute mark, but I definitely made the 30-minute mark. So anyway, these are great for patio, deck, whatever, or you need a bottom on a bed, or you can just put them in the kitchen garden, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, my friends, we've done it. Let's see. I think I set my timer. Okay, I think we did it. Literally, I think we did it right on the money. I can't believe it. Okay, this is a raised bed. This is how you can build one and put one together. This is gonna last for decades, literally decades. It'll last so much longer than like a cedar bed, any kind of wooden bed. I love the finish on these, super modern, and is gonna rust a little bit over time, but not too much. And I also like that these have a little bit of a lip to them, so you can throw lots of plants over the edge and that kind of thing. So this is a raised bed. We have them in all different sizes and shapes in the Gardenary shop, and I hope that this inspires you to build one yourself. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.